And Miss Sermon, I kind of want to get off subject a little bit because I mean we do have you here as a guest.
Yes.
We were
chiming in, but I'm looking at my rug at the same time.
So Kim, I mean Miss Sermon, you're here like you have your Death Rugs business with your brother Eric.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know who Eric is.
Yes,
EPMD. I mean the younger crowd. I mean of course I know who he is. You know just because of who my father is, and he was a DJ and things. And then I know he had his solo career, and he had some success with that. Now you guys have the Def Rugs. So tell us about Def Rugs.
Well, Def Rugs is a company that I created with my brother and a friend of mine from like over 20 years ago. What I do is I create product that makes sense to your brand. So it's like I stay in my own lane. I knew that, there was merchandises. To me, it's like everybody's without their merchandise. Like so many artists today just do not understand what merch is. Like I'm creating the merch deals, like over music deals. So I said to myself, I need to make something that I can be in my own lane. I can't deal with competition because I can't afford it. You know what I mean? I kind of deal with my pocket money, and that's just what I do. When I make the product, I think about, well, can I pay for it? How much is it gonna cost for me to make it? So lo and behold, I had a friend whose family been in the carpet business for 40 years, and he's never made a rug before in 40 years. But he's been a hip hop fan, and he wanted to be a producer and stuff because that's how I met him. So one day I was like, well, make me a rug, and he was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, Kim, I did something crazy, and he came up with this EPMD rug, and he just cut it out and made the letters, and he brought it over and he put it on the floor in Brother's studio, and I was like, I watched that rug the whole time. He was like, I want to bring it for Eric for his birthday surprise. So I'm like, nah, bring it now. Come tonight. My brother looked at it and was like, yo, Kim, that's some money right there. I was like, what you mean it's some money? You know what I mean? So my wheels started spinning. So I went back to my homeboy like, yo, how much would it cost for us to make these rugs printed, you know what I mean, and actually sell them to artists, and then we'll make money off the customs, you know what I mean? Like, and he went back home and talked to the mill and stuff, which he never did before, and he was like, we're going to need to put some money in escrow, see if Eric will invest. So I'm like, he going to do it because, he owed me some, some things. So
I know that's
back
right.
to my kitchen, right in my kitchen, Eric was like, yo, whatever Kim say, and I was like, all right, we're going to cut the check, and we started making these rugs, and then the rugs start taking life of their own because it's my brother, so we can go anywhere. You can get into any
This
concerts.
actually is one of them, right?
This is a printed rug.
Okay.
This is a printed rug, which means these rugs come cut. They come in a roll already, so we have to order a roll from the mill. So the mill is like who we went to for printed. We make our own customs handmade. It's handmade carpet and it's inlaid. So we actually turn the carpet over, flip it, draw on it, cut it out, and then inlay it in carpet. And we've done over the time. I should have brought one that didn't have.
Where's
no
the other one that you have?
This rug is from this rug I made for a friend of mine who asked me to do a rug for No ID because he did the 444 album and they wanted to present a rug to him. So when people call me up and say they want a rug as a gift to somebody like No ID, it's like that's what you want to give a rug. Like nice. So we done did rugs for everybody, so far, in the game, and we did J.R. Smith, we did Odell Beckham, we do athletes, and honestly they call us. That's the dopeness about the company. It's like they just be calling us and hit. It
sells itself.
I just got hit the other day with Dave East. He was like, "Yo, can I get a rug?" You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yeah, you can get a rug, but can you come to the studio?" I'm always trying to monetize off of something else.
So how did you start? Like besides the rugs, like how did you start in the business? Was that something that did you want to be an entrepreneur in hip hop, or was it something else in hip hop that you wanted to do per se? When you started,
I'm hip hop.
Yeah,
I'm an advocate.
You're just hip hop. I got you.
I hear it, and I hear people arguing over hip hop and arguing with it. It's just like you never stop. You never stop wanting to pin a rhyme. Like when I first heard Nicki, and I was like, oh, she trash. Like I was at in the house.
So when it came to Nicki and Remy, you was more pro Remy.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't even go. I'm just about the art, the craft,
the artistry.
I
got
you.
Rhymes,
you know what I mean? So I get the songs and stuff, but for us, I come from the era of rhymes. Like you had to rhyme to call yourself to be like you a dope MC. Like I had to say some bars. I had to be at home what I call exercise. The dude who's naturally nice might be naturally nice, but if I'm at home all day pinning, I'm nicer.
So who you like now? Let me ask you that. Who you in the game now? If you had to pick at least two artists, who are two artists now in the game that you could say are hip hop?
Well, people, when they say divine hip-hop, I do hip-hop as a whole. We always talk about the MC. Hip-hop's larger than the MC.
Okay.
But so I could go to a fashion person and go, she's dope. And you'd be like, what you talking about? She's not the MC. So I just don't always focus on the MC. I'm speaking hip-hop. But you're talking musically, I like the Coles and I like Kendrick. And, of course, I'm a huge Nas fan. I'm still a Redman fan. I'm still a Key fan. I still root for my brothers because they still nice as hell.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
heard, something that what I was telling you about what Jazzo did. Like, it just brought me back to the essence of Rockefeller.
Does he live
and
here?
He's in Atlanta, and it was just
gotta
like
get him
that. I used to be trapped. I lived out here in my 20s, and we and 3-6. What's their name?
3-6 Mafia?
No, it was MJG and 8 Ball. They was platinum. I never heard these cats.
Right.
The South never needed us.
No.
The South never needed us.
Nope.
So the fact that New York embraced the South and played their records, they didn't need us. They wanted us for solidification because we're the hood and the street. New York is top. But as far as money and wealth, they didn't need us to grow.
Because the South is there's just more of.
I never heard these rappers.
Right.
Like, I was at
There's
a place
more
called
of it.
369, these little bass trap clubs, and they was huge. And I said, who are these cats? And then somebody brought me a Mobb Deep CD, a tape. It was a white tape, and it was Shook Ones. I wrote rhymes on that. I was living in Dunwoody. I wrote rhymes on that beat tape probably all day, like, because that's all I had. Because there was only South music here, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I just took that. But I come from writing rhymes and being a young girl writing rhymes too, working for my brother when I was like 19, 17 years old, and then working with Reggie, and I always worked with them. My brother always had a label, always had a management, so as long as he was working, I was working.
And I want to ask you one last question on this before we continue. How do you feel about women's place in the music industry, like where they are now versus where they were, I would say, maybe 20, 25 years ago?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this game, like when we talk about, just goes back to women, period. Like, we are the backbone, we're the structure, you know what I mean? If you don't know what that is, then you're going to keep pushing that to the side. And because this is what we call black, this is our culture we created.
Right.
Who gets hated the most? Who gets the least amount of respect from their own people? Us.
Right.
So we are still at the same place because of where our rib is, you know what I mean? It's like, black man, you got to put us there.
Right.
You don't exist without us, you know what I mean? So it doesn't take us stepping over you or we 40 years young. We 40 years young. So when people talk about hip hop in the game and we're supposed to be at, we 40 years young. So of course we beefing and we still ain't at the level we're supposed to be at, because we still got to go through the fight. Right. We still got some civil rights to go through in this game.
Absolutely.
So when they talk about I hate Yachty, I hate whatever, you think Mick Jagger liked a freaking Nirvana?
Right.
You think they liked Bon Jovi or whoever was jumping around with heavy metals? No, they ain't like them.
Right.
They had to fight too to say, nah, you ain't doing rock and roll, homie. That's heavy metal. Nah, you doing soft rock, homie. We got to get to that level. Right now, we in the hip hop box.
Right.
We got to be broken down the same way, and people getting so mad, but they got to know we young.
We young.
We
and
young.
We're still here.
Our fight hasn't even opened up the doors to go, all right, here's the agenda, homie. We're going to put some categories in hip-hop. You can no longer be called hip-hop. You're going to be called trap. You like
Thank
that?
you.
You're going to be called the same way they did in every other genre.
Stay in your lane.
You ain't got contemporary gospel and all these other gospel stations for no reason. Everybody just be gospel. No, they said, no, you're not doing what I'm doing.
Who would your hip-hop counsel be?
My counsel? My KRS one would be the teacher. That's Uno. You know what I mean? He's and it's just the knowledge itself. You know what I mean? Because I want somebody who's literary knowledge of the hip hop and the culture to represent that culture. I'm not trying to get the most clairvoyant. I don't need Umar Johnson sitting and saying, I don't need no psychologist, theologist. I need KRS to be at the helm just because he understands it. I need Herc to sit on the sofa just because it's like he got to chime in and go, no. We started here. Like, where's my pew at? Where's my box at? Or the peanut gallery to say. So for me, I can't, say my brother's gonna be on the panel just because of who he is. You know what I mean? Right. I'm gonna say that I want somebody whoever it is has to be intellectually understanding and educated what this is and where this culture has begun and where we're going with this culture. I want to be able to talk to the youth so they can understand that we ain't bashing y'all. We don't hate y'all. There is no division in here. We just telling you what we're doing is not what you're doing. And I want you to grow and I want you to thrive. So if I make a record that's trap, I want to get trap record of the year. I make a record that's hip-hop, I want hip-hop record of the year. So I think we'd have to come back to the round table just the way they did and say we got to make some changes in this game so we can all survive.
Right,
we can all live and thrive. It shouldn't just be that they thrive and then we're going to come back with a couple of hip-hop artists. They thriving as a whole in every other culture of music. Right. Everybody's thriving. Why does hip-hop got 10 artists?
And I think, too, before we wrap this segment up, I do think it's very important for artists to understand that it's not just about the music anymore. Like, it's a brand. It's a brand. So, like, you doing things like the rugs and different merch. Very, very important.
And I'm not tooting my own horn. I just been in this game for a very, very long time. But toot. I create product that makes sense to your brand. If you come to me and you sit down with me and I talk to you, I don't care what you say. DMX was DMX. But when I sit with DMX and I say, who you like? He said, I love the Lord. I said, well, we got to make crosses then because your fans know who you are on the inside, the whole you, not just the outside you. This is nostalgia stuff that say Eric Sermon. That's nostalgic stuff that say that. But on the inside, this man loves the Lord.
Right.
On the inside, this
absolutely,
man
right.
loves to do
And no
love
matter
decor.
what he does, that's gonna
why I
come
got
out.
these rugs, because every time he would send me to Marshalls and say, "Yo, Kim, go get me a couple of rugs for the front. I want it," because he likes the house to look nice. That's why I did rugs for him. I don't have to, but I got to now explain the story and go, this man loves decor, so I'm doing Def Decor. We're gonna have bed in the bags. I'm about to have shower curtains that say I love hip hop. It's gonna say, it was all a dream, on the bed, bed in the bag, because he loves decor.
And I always ask because like my brothers and all of them, they were like big in the graffiti aspect of the culture, and I'm just like, why aren't y'all doing what you said?
Yeah.
Because no matter what you portray yourself to be, whatever is in your core is gonna come out.
Brands
whatever
are built
your
over
energy
time.
is. Yeah.
I'm trying to be Tylenol. I want you to come to me and never leave, because I'm going to fix your headache. You know what I mean? Like, this is the brand. You shouldn't have to go nobody else. I'm the major brand.
And hip hop is the culture. So it's everything
culture.
you wear, everything you say, everything you do, and how you do it.
My talk, my walk, my attitude, everything about me is this culture. And I don't do it, just to say, it ain't no hardcore nothing. It's just who we are. The fashion, the way to put some jeans on, some heels in the car. That's hip hop.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
hip
I
hop.
mean? This is
Right.
all hip hop.
Right.
Exactly.
And tell us what we can, or what the people can find your rugs or get in contact with you at.
Well, you can follow me on IG at KKAYESERMON, or I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at Kim17. But our rugs is on defrugs.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and all social media at defrugs. But you can definitely buy one. Hit me up too on my email at kimsermon1@gmail. I do take personal orders, and that's just where we at. And you can follow us and see what we're doing. And if you need help with your brand, holler at me as well.